hear me a little better?
Yes, that's better. Okay, very good. Well, it's nice to see all of you. I missed you last week, but I had a nice week off. Thank you very much. And Karen, I heard you did a wonderful job, so thank you, God, for that. She's my blessing. So how about if we stand up this morning and let's sing "Woke Up This Morning." I'm glad you woke up this morning.
Cardiologist the other day, which is just a routine visit for me. He says, "You ever get short of breath?" I said, "Only after I stay, whatever it was we just did." I said, and he said, "Well, then stop singing." Well, welcome to Unity Spiritual Life Center. And we just do welcome you in all of our love, sharing with you your love coming back to us. It's just wonderful. So where am I at with this? Our prayer partner is going to come up and center us.
You know that bulletin that you all have in your hands and what it says, who's going to do who and who's going to, it's not true. None of it is true. The only part that's true is Reverend Ecker is speaking today. The rest of it, don't pay any attention. So let's light the Christ candle. And light this Christ candle to remind us of the Christ light shining in each and every one of us. And now, if you'll join me in an opening prayer. Great Spirit, Mother, Father, God, we are so grateful for this opportunity to be here today. It just feels like coming home every Sunday when we come here. We're grateful for the beautiful blue skies that we've had. We're grateful for the beautiful leaves that are falling off the trees. What a wonderful world you have given to us. Bless blessings on those who can't be with us today. Whatever their reasons, you know them better than we. For blessings given and prayers answered before they are asked. In gratitude, Great Spirit, together we say,
Thank you, God.
And so it is. Amen.
One
Jim, I told Ron if she wants to send me money to give to Jim, I told her, well, it's going to be pretty cramped. Hopefully my dad will understand it. Otherwise, where's he going to,
Good morning. My name is Jeannie Reed. I'm on the Board of Trustees, and I am your platform assistant today. So now we're going to do our daily word for October 31st, and our word today is protected. I find my protection in the light of faith and truth. I smile and act frightened as I recognize the neighborhood children who come to my door wearing scary masks and costumes. Children of all ages enjoy playing make-believe. Pretend fright is part of the fun of Halloween. Now and then, in response to an unexpected and unwelcome challenge, more serious thoughts of fear seep into my mind and upset my emotional well-being. At the first hint of unease, I remember that all of the protecting power of God is as near as my next thought. I say no to fear and yes to faith. My confidence grows as I practice the divine presence, discovering not only the protecting power, but also the guiding love and wisdom of God everywhere I go and in everything I do. And from Psalm 18, 31, 32, for who is God except the Lord? And who is a rock besides our God? The God who girded me with strength and made my way safe.
And now if you join me in meditation, taking a deep breath, breathing in deeply and letting go, and another deep breath, and release. One more time, a deep breath in. As we breathe in and release, we feel ourselves grounded and at peace, and ready to open and receive the wisdom that will be shared with us today. And as we settle in deeply, we recognize that this day, this night, is Halloween. In the Celtic tradition, a time of the thinning of the veils between the worlds. Time could be a scary time where we may need to face our own fears. And yet, within that, there is the protection of the divine. And as we recognize this and move deeper, we acknowledge all those who have gone before, those who preceded us in faith and in wisdom, and who are like the guiding lights of the Halloween lanterns. And as we go deeper into our meditation, let us feel the wisdom of those who are our guides. Maybe they take our hand, leading us in and through these mystical, maybe scary places. We know we are protected. And we know that we are gaining wisdom and love as we proceed with our guides. Now let's take a few moments in silence, feeling the hand of our guide or guides as we enter into the great mystery. The great mystery of love, of all that is. So a few moments, deep silence. Now, taking a deep breath in and releasing, coming back to recognize how we're sitting in our seats. Coming back to this place and joining in community prayer. Janet Hatrip asked for prayers for Cindy Lopez and her son Adam. Adam has been diagnosed with leukemia and bone cancer. He will be in Children's Hospital for 6 months. So we ask for prayers for Adam and for prayers for his mom, comfort and guidance through this time. And now if you join me in prayer for our greater community, prayers for this community right here in the community, prayers for Yakima and for this state and for this nation and for this world. Seeing all coming together for the good in divine order. And now for those who are on your hearts and minds, whisper their names into this space. And finish with your own name. For all these prayers answered, we say thank you. Thank you, God. And so it is.
So this one is in the handle, if you guys want the music, it's page 65. Otherwise, the words are right there for you.
I
have somebody with tiny fingers turn it off.
So Cheryl's contribution to our service today is her little pinky.
There's power in the pinky.
There. We are one. You know, it's my pleasure to introduce to you Monsignor Ecker. And we have had him here before. We've always enjoyed him. We're going to enjoy him again. And so without any further ado, Monsignor.
Thank you. Happy Halloween to all of you.
Yay.
If I had thought about it more diligently about the date that I agreed to come here, I think I would have changed it because I have to preach at 7 masses at our church today. We got 1, 2, let's see. We got 4 down. We got 4 down and 3 to go. 3 down and 4 to go. I forget. I did so. But anyway, because it's our annual Catholic appeal for our diocese, which is the greater church than parish for us as Catholic Christians. And but it's a joy to be here. I never wanted to cancel out my invitation to come among you because I had a marvelous experience in the past with you. And I thank you for your wonderful welcome and for the very fact that you, by your name of unity, embody all those things that this church and the world really needs most today. I've been around for a long time. I think I'm the oldest pastor, active pastor in town or in the area. I've been 63 years a priest, and I started out right next door here at St. Paul's, and I'm back again for the last 34 years almost, the second time. But it's really a joy to be here with you. Because we're speaking about unity, and we're speaking about, and because you are centered in unity and things you try to do and bring about in this community, I just wanted to talk a little bit about Halloween. Why? Halloween, of course, is All Hallows Evening. That's what it means. And it was the Feast of All Saints, which we've always, in the Catholic community, celebrated on the 1st of November. Halloween used to be, the kids used to dress up as their favorite saint, or the saint that they were named after. And they would have processions and parades, and people would reward them for their parade by giving them candy and refreshments. Well, it went from saints to witches and goblins and all kinds of space age heroes. But we still have the concept of All Saints, of All Hallows Evening. We believe as Catholic Christians that we have a unity, not only in this world with one another, but we have a unity with those who have made it, those who are saints in heaven. Not just those who are recognized all over the world by the Catholic Church by any means, but all those who are saints. I have a lot of funerals in our congregation, probably more than anybody in the community have. And when I go out to Calvary Cemetery, or even to Tahoma, or Terrace Heights, I have more friends there than I have walking around. But we believe there's a unity among us, that the unity doesn't stop just with death, but because we believe that death isn't the end of our existence, but it's merely the beginning of a new and more glorious chapter for each one of us. And we've got it made too with God. We learn in our catechism, our first lesson about God, and I don't know if any of you are survivors of Catholic education, but it was tough. Some of those nuns were really mean. They used to teach us, and I was in Catholic schools for a couple of years in grade school, the 4th and 5th grade. I happened to have made, every 2 years, I have made a school change because we moved a lot. And but I remember some of those nuns, they were really good teachers, but their teaching hurt sometimes. They not only taught us and forced those answers into our heads literally, figuratively, but even literally, and some of us still have the bruises to prove it. But we learned well. And in answer to the question, why did God make you? if you spoke to a group of Catholic young people or older people that went to Catholic schools, you'd have the same answer given. God made me to know him and to love him and to serve him in this world. And I mentioned that many times when I celebrate funerals with people. But I said, you know, even more important than that, when we gather on an occasion like this, we remember that we are made to be happy with God forever in heaven. That's the ultimate. And I have mentioned many times to a person about a person that I've known and respected, even some I haven't, that now they don't have to believe anymore, because now they're experiencing the glory of God. They've made it. And they're up there interceding for us and praying for us. We believe that there is a unity that exists between those who have gone before us and those who are here on earth. Those who have attained the principal goal of our lives, union with God, and those might be more on the way to it. And all saints, as I mentioned to our people today, and will next Mass, I have to get back. So I'm fortunate I can't stay with you for refreshments afterwards and the great conviviality and fellowship that you have, because I have to get back for the next Mass. But I mentioned to all those people there today, you know, we're saints in training, you and I. We're saints in the making. While we honor the saints who have made it and achieved the purpose of their creation, we honor ourselves too. Because All Saints Day, which is tomorrow in our church, All Saints Day reminds us that we're all called to be saints. But in order to be saints, of course, I can speak of our own community here, we have to put aside our own private prejudices and discrimination that we have all grew up with in some way or other. Discrimination and prejudice, of course, is a learned craft, or what do you want a degree in our lives. It's not something we're born with. But we all share in some way in the discrimination that we have against certain people that aren't like us. And most of the Christian churches, our own as well, have to apologize and to make up for the great discrimination and prejudice that we have shown to so many people in the past. Gay people, lesbians, transsexuals, people who are a different color than we are, who speak different languages. I remember years ago when I was pastor at Holy Family Parish out on the west side of town, after I came back from the Navy at chaplaincy, talking to some people, because the pastor in a local church, just not that far from us, within a couple of miles, had a son who was gay. And that son, when he died, the pastor said publicly that that person, his son, had no hope to get to heaven because he was gay. The parents came, I happened to meet them. We developed a wonderful relationship. They were so hurt by that prejudice that was shown against someone who was a wonderful person, but just because he was different, his own father rejected him. But we don't go as far as that, most of us. But we have these little prejudices that keep us kind of apart from others. I have a friend in my parish that lives a couple of blocks from our cathedral. She was the first Mexican person to live and buy a home west of 10th Avenue. It was only in 1973. And when in conversations with her and her husband, who has since died, they experienced a tremendous amount of prejudice when they moved up in this area, which was all white in those days. Well, we can't have unity among the people of God unless we respect our differences, the differences we have with one another. There's so many tragic stories of prejudice becoming real and turned into terrible action against people. We look at our nation today and we realize how divided we are as a nation. Republicans against Democrats and vice versa. We have people that are liberal against conservatives. We have black against white. We have people that speak one language and not another. It's a tragedy. Not only is it a tragedy, it's a sin that we actually sometimes even foster, maybe unconsciously, these prejudices that we have. I remember when I came back from Vietnam in the war there, and I admit that I was prejudiced against Vietnamese people, just because I didn't know anyone personally, just the way I've seen the way they treated people and the way they treated us and wanted us out of the country. We wanted to get out too, by the way. And I really had a prejudice against them. Someone came in my parish at Holy Family and said, let's sponsor a Vietnamese family and bring them over here. It was a difficult decision to make. I said, sure, let's do it. Well, that family that had 6 children when they came, and they had 2 more after they came, their children are all professionals. They're doctors, they're lawyers, they're people who turned out so beautifully. They're wonderful people. When I got to know them as individuals, I came to a great respect. And while I wasn't so enthusiastic about bringing a family here from Vietnam, because of my own prejudices and my own experience there in that country in war, I came to know and to love them as individuals. And I'm ashamed in myself of being prejudiced against them in the beginning. I think most of us grow up with certain prejudices. I lived in a kind of a white ghetto in the Boston area when I was growing up. And it was a poor area, but it was all white. I never met a person of color until I was in high school. They just weren't, they didn't live in our area. Unlike here, it was so different. It was a poor ghetto, but it was still a ghetto nevertheless. And I don't think anyone that tried to move into that place would have been welcome. I have to say that, looking back at my own experiences. We have to be careful as we strive for unity, not only in the church, and we have to make apologies for ourselves, the way we've treated so many people, the gay people and lesbians and people of color, people of Black people and people of Native American heritage. We've all got to apologize for the past things that have happened in our own traditions and our own life. And I'm very conscious of that. I'm very conscious of the need that we have to repair the differences that we have encouraged and made. And your very name, unity, really encompasses all that we try to do. We have to unite our churches. We have to unite, the great scandal is that those who believe in Jesus Christ have so many different denominations. People look at us from the non-Christian world and say, what are you all about? You all say you believe in Jesus and yet you don't even act that way. We act independently and with no regard for one another so often. We have to repair those differences that we kind of live with. We have to be mindful. And one of the great things that Jesus prayed for at the Last Supper the night before he died was that all might be one, as you, Father, in me, and I in you, that they also may be one in us, in order that the world may believe that you have sent me. And so we try to work together. Cheryl has been a marvelous partner in the efforts in this community here for so many years. I won't even mention how many years it's been, but anyways, she's still too young to retire. But the fact is, she's been active, very active, and a leader in this community, in the Association of Churches, and now it's called the Association of Faith Communities. We want to be more inclusive in what we call ourselves. We have representatives from the Christian and Mormon churches, and we have representation from the Baha'i, and from all these different organizations, Hindus, Muslims, all this now in our community. Unfortunately, it's not a very powerful community. It doesn't have too much influence in our community, but it's there. As you are here, We might not be large in numbers, but the very fact that you stand here as a unity center, spiritual center, is a sign to the community that you are concerned about bringing people together. And I want to thank you for that. I came here today enthusiastically because I had such a wonderful reception the last time I appeared. It was a couple of years ago, at least, maybe 3, I'm not sure. But I said, no, when I got the invitation, I said, sure. Unfortunately, I forgot I had to preach at 7 other services. But I'm heading back now, and I'm sorry to have to leave you early, but I can't have a choice. So I have to get back and talk about supporting a diocese too, which is the greater church. Our parishes are the church that people belong to. And St. Paul, we have a wonderful community of warm-hearted and welcoming people. But I have to be also, because I'm the Vicar General of our diocese, which is like second in command. When the bishop's away, I'm in charge, which means nothing, by the way. But the fact is, I have to be concerned about that, and we all do, not just the individual churches and communities we represent and belong to, but we have to be concerned about the larger church, the greater church, the church that is more universal, the church that extends not only here in our community of Yakima, the church that extends throughout the whole world. And I want to thank you today for the welcome that you gave me already. As I say, I'm sorry I can't join you for fellowship, but it's impossible to get everything in today. And I think I'll collapse this afternoon until I have EV masses tonight. But anyway, but I want to thank you for you. And I'm going to ask God's blessing upon you, that may the Lord may bless you and keep you, and may He send His healing power to be with you always. And when the day comes that He summons you to come before Himself, to be united with Him in heaven, you already be in heaven, an hour before the devil knows you're dead.
Sometimes people leave you halfway through the wood. Others will deceive you. You decide what's good. You decide alone. No one is alone.
thinking they're alone. Honor their mistakes. Everybody makes those terrible mistakes. Witches can be right, giants can be good. You decide what's right, you decide what's good. And remember, someone else is on your side. Someone else is not. While you're seeing your side, maybe you forgot. No one is alone. No one is alone. Hard to see the light now. Just don't let it go. Things can turn out right now. You can make it so. No one is alone. No one is alone.
There it is, there.
All right, our weekly Zoom meditation, Marilyn Breed is doing on Tuesday evenings at 7 o'clock. And the Zoom link is on our website at unityyakima.org. And Warren is no longer able to do the Wednesday morning meditation. So if you would be interested in leading this, please contact the office. Our Wednesday morning book study is Wednesday mornings at 11 o'clock, and they are reading Where the Mountain Meets the Moon by Grace Lynn. Our gutter cleaning and leak filters, we have an appointment set with Continuous Gutter to come and clean the gutters and install leak filters on the gutters. So that's going to be really great. If you would like to contribute to this fund, please mark your donations gutters. Our men's restroom remodel, we have received 2 bids on that, and we already have $1,700, only $6,300 to go. So mark your donations for that men's room. And this week we will start dismantling the library, moving all the books and shelves out. And then if you would like to give to this fund, mark your donations library. And I'm not sure, but I'm assuming that if you call Chris, you could probably come in and help with that if you wanted to. They could always use another hand. There's quite a few books down there to move. And then we have our lineup of November guest speakers. Yay, team, for lining those people up for us. Our speaker feedback forms are the little green forms that are inside of your bulletin, and it's very much appreciated if you would take a moment to fill those out with feedback for the speakers, and you can just drop those in the collection plate. And also, if you forget, the form is on our website now at unityyakima.org/Sunday services. We have get well baskets in the back that we're gathering donations for our congregants who get sick and live alone. And there's a list here of things that you can get to put in there. And our winter holiday giving this year will be supporting Adams School with needed clothing, as they have one of the highest poverty levels in Yakima. We have 3 boxes in the back that are marked small, medium, and large. And you can also like bring gloves or hats and put them on the chairs in lieu of the bears. So our
But the
bears,
teddy bears are back.
yeah, teddy bears and mittens and gloves and stuff can also sit on the, and we can fill them full of love before we give them. Now, if you'll please join me in the affirmations. Prosperity affirmation together.
My mind is one with God mind, in which everything is possible.
Our vision.
Of a world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of a shared spiritual awakening.
And our mission.
We empower individuals to collectively transform the world.
Now it's time to celebrate abundance. And before we really begin, I have a couple of abundance. I'm going to share my personal one first. Next Sunday, I'm going to be somewhere in the Washington, D.C. area with my son, daughter, and grandson. And I am so looking forward to that. And the second one, I'm going to be asking for feedback from each of you to share with all board members or one board member. Pick out a board member and share your feedback. We have a unique opportunity, at least unique to our church. A couple of weeks ago, we designated Reverend Cheryl as Reverend Emerita or Minister Emerita or whatever. It's an honorary title, totally unrelated to anything else. It is simply us saying to Cheryl, thank you so much for your 13 years of service to us. It was great. We learned a lot. We grew and we continue to grow because of her teaching. In fact, we probably wouldn't be here today if Reverend Cheryl hadn't led us into a congregant-centric ministry. That's one thing. The other thing is that this afternoon, the board will be considering a proposal Cheryl has given to us. In that proposal, we will keep her informed and up to date with minutes and agendas, etc., for our board meetings for our needs. And Cheryl will in turn give us whatever the meetings are, board meetings, attendance to help guide us. She will give us some classes and some spiritual counseling as well. And Cheryl, if I'm missing something, yell at me. But in her retirement days, Cheryl was also open to doing funeral services and did one for my husband, George, and also for Sharon's husband, James, which are such a gift to the congregation. She is willing to do that at about the rate of 25 hours a month at $500 a month, which is a tremendous gift. And it's her way of not only supporting her church, but supporting all of us as well. So after service, if you see a board member and you have particular feedback, please give us that feedback and we will be voting on that proposal this afternoon. So now, with that, anybody else have an abundance to share?
I just want to thank you for those people who donated the clothing to the Adams School so far. This week, we collected 4 garbage bags full of really nice clothing for these kids. And they do need it. They, like all other kids, have mistakes and they're growing up in school and stuff, and they need some new underwear once in a while or something. And so they need warm things, and their families just can't support them this way. I mean, they're the people who pick the cherries that we enjoy so much. So these are the kind of people we're helping. So I want to encourage you to bring some warmings for these kids. Thank you.
And Sharon, I see you as well.
You. I feel very abundant because Marilyn Holloway, I've been asking her forever to teach me how to make her famous chai tea. And she took her time and had all the ingredients. I didn't have to bring anything, and invited me to her house and taught me how to make it. And then she proceeded to show me around her garden. And I was just in awe because I'm like, I just hope that I'm like you when I'm your age. So.
was telling her that the other day. When I grow up, I want to be like you.
Yes.
Sure.
I just want to celebrate my abundance from a couple weeks ago. I mean, I think that was a couple weeks ago. I was in Waldport, Oregon, from the 17th through the 23rd with family. We had my aunt, who was my mom's sister, and one of her daughters come over from Virginia. And then my cousin Sam and his wife from Salt Lake drove over, and we rented a house, and it was right on the beach. And it was just fabulous. And then one of my other cousins came up from San Diego area. So Waldport is where my mom's brother and his family lived. So it was just, I mean, we had a house full, and it was just fabulous, and the weather was perfect. And we got gale wind storms like the next day. I mean, after we all left. So, so it was wonderful.
My abundance this week is my new neighbors. I have new neighbors across the street, and it's a woman with her 18-year-old son, and he is on the autism spectrum. And he mowed my lawn a couple of days ago, and I'd seen him mowing his mom's lawn, and I needed help with that. And I talked to his mom and said, I saw Michael mowing your lawn. Oh, she said he loves mowing lawns. I said, do you think he'd come and mow mine? I give him some pocket money. Sure, she said. I give him $5 to mow the lawn. That would be great. So he came over and mowed my lawn, which was much appreciated. He did a great job, and it kind of made him happy too. It's like he felt good about mowing the lawn. So it's like, yes, this is a wonderful abundance. And he's such a special kid. It's really great to encourage him to do things in his own way.
Course in Miracles lesson that says giving and receiving are the same.
Well, I had a similar experience, Marilyn. My neighbors across the street, they just moved in and they were having a yard sale. So I went over just to introduce myself, and there was a couple of teenager girls there. And I said, would you ever like to help me with my garden? I can't do it anymore. And I said, I have a lot of weeds to pull. She said, I would just love to. Can you imagine anybody loving to pull weeds? But she does a wonderful job. She's worked many hours for me and does an excellent job. So I'm blessed too.
Anyone else? Yes, you have one. I do.
I actually have three. The first one was Karen and the choir, because she stepped in last week. It was nice. I didn't worry. It was like, I just felt comfortable, and I appreciate that so much. And the fact that you guys are there to support her when she was here, and just everything you do, it makes our service wonderful. So thank you for that. The second one is, our neighbor did not flood us out this year. We had a talk, and I think we finally got through. Usually our house was like last year, our backyard had standing water like that in it. And it was horrible. And she didn't do it this year. And I thank you, God. I mean, neighbor relations is so much better. And the third one is that I feel abundant that we have platforms online that we can touch other people's lives. I met a guy and his wife online about, I don't know, a month ago. And it was like, he just kind of clamped on because he needed someone to talk to. And in the middle of the night, and his wife lost her job because of the mandates. She'd been a nurse for 22 years. He lost 2 employees because of the mandates. Then their family friend had jumped off a balcony at one of the concerts in California. Family friend. And it just devastated their whole lives upside down. And I appreciate the platform God has allowed us to have to be able to communicate and help and be there for one another, even if you never know their full name or anything about them, just being able to be there as a support system, because what goes around comes around. And I just appreciate that so much. I was thinking about that last night, how grateful I am for them. Thank you.
Like I'm blessed today that I have my friend Jim sitting next to me, because he fell off a ladder a few days ago. And he had bleeding in his brain and was shipped to Harborview Medical Center. And we were told that he had a 50-50 chance of living. I was talking to my sister that night, and she said she was going to church, and I said, well, ask the church to pray for him. At 3 a.m, he was dismissed and sent home, and he's been fine ever since. So I think we're very blessed.
Just keep a good man down. Anyone else? I have just a quick little thing about the teddy bears, and that is that I'm hoping that they go to Adam's school as well. Children have crises, and the teddy bears give them something that's been loved, that they can hold on to and receive some of that love back. So they're as good as the clothing in some respects, and at the right time. Coats are also nice. I like my coat today. So let's have the offering. Divine love flowing through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God.
Would you tell her there are 3?
3?
Yeah.
Divine Spirit, thank you for the flow of giving and receiving that is a part of our wondrous universe and this church. Daily, we receive all that is needed and more from the infinite abundance all around us. We pray blessings on these offerings given with gratitude and joy. We pray blessings on the persons who have donated. Thank you, God. And so it is.
All right, let's bless all of us and the child within us. We love you, we bless you, and we appreciate you just the way you are. And now we'll all stand up and we will do our prayer of protection.
You need Cheryl's finger.
It's little enough to turn it off. Huh?
The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.